In this video, we're going to discuss the EOPC worksheet found within the PDG. The Engineer's Opinion of Probable Cost is a new addition to the development guide. While an updated EOPC has always been a deliverable for each design set turn-in, the EOPC has been added to the PDG to reduce the amount of information transposition required during the bid phase of a project. It also provides recommended budget allocations for construction administration and design costs based on the most recent estimate. This worksheet accomplishes several tasks. It sets up funding divisions for the project, budget allocation levels for construction-related costs, and the unit price sheet. Color coding is very important on this worksheet. As with the rest of the PDG, you typically only want to enter information into the colorful cells. Gray and white cells can be overwritten, but at the cost of losing automated function. As you can see, when I click on this gray cell, it shows a formula for where to pull this information from elsewhere in the document. Filling out this worksheet is a critical path item for completing several bid phase documents, including the recommendation to file, 300A, 300A funding, and the recommendation to award. The unit bid item list makes use of an Excel table, which is a spreadsheet within a spreadsheet. This provides two main benefits. One, you can sort the table without fear of accidentally excluding individual columns. Two, and more importantly, the information you enter here can be queried by subsequent worksheets to generate a perfect mirror of the EOPC with just a few clicks. You'll see more of this in later videos. During the design phase, submitting your updated EOPC in the format you see here is recommended, but not required. Speak with your city project manager. If you have an in-house method of generating estimates which you prefer, this will probably be fine for design phase submissions. When creating the project manual, however, you'll have to work pretty hard to avoid using this worksheet. Plan accordingly. In previous videos, we developed the PDG using a reconstruction project on Oakland Road Northeast as a model. We will continue the example here in miniature to demonstrate the function of this worksheet. All right, I did a little bit of a time warp here. I entered in some information in the unit price item list here, but when you first start out, you want to work from the top down, of course. In your preliminary submission, you don't need to have your divisions figured out quite yet. You can enter everything in as one division, but by the intermediate level, you do want to figure out the different categories, if not the CIP number. So in this example, since it's a full reconstruction project, and we're just doing it simply here, but to make Division 1 roadway, and we know right now it's going to be 3012148. Division 2, we're going to make water, and we're going to give that the shortened number. Usually there's another series of numbers behind that. There's a water number, and then we're also going to have a storm sewer category. And that number in this project was 306277. So when you're entering this up here, you're going to see it start popping in to the sheet down here. Since this was an externally designed project, we're going to choose consultant. And based on that, right now it's popping up with these numbers. When you're starting from the top down, until you fill in some of this information here, it's not going to produce a suggestion here. But when you do start to fill in the items, it's going to start populating that EOPC value right here. And it's from that it's going to start to recommend these percentages here. So in general, the larger the value of the project, the smaller as a portion of construction cost are going to be the different items. So by that, I mean design for a large project is probably going to hover around 10%. But let's say you had a much smaller project, which came in below the bid threshold. Since it's a smaller project, you're more likely to spend more on design. So that number is going to bump up, as will construction admin and inspection. But with the larger projects, going to hover closer to 10, and the default setting for contingency is 10. That's one which you can alter based on the particulars of the project. Make your best judgment call there. But as you enter in numbers down here, this is self-explanatory, but all the math is going to be done for you. So all you need to do is enter in the unit and the unit price, as well as the quantity in the correct division supposing you know what that division is. Hopefully you don't have a huge number of divisions, but it's been set up to have a maximum of 10 divisions without having to make any changes. And just for ease, a lot of those are hidden, but you can get those to show up by just unhiding O through A, B, and that'll give you a lot more divisions that you can show. So if you have a really complicated project, or you have like a tree removal project, which is going to have a ton of different projects in it, that might come in use there for you. So every time that you make a change to this, just put your revision date in there. So I'm put 11/30/2020 today's date, and save who made that change, so that if you're passing this Excel file back and forth like a football, sometimes it can get confusing which is the most recent version. So pay attention and use that revision date cell as often as possible so that you know that you're working with the most recent version. By default, you're given at least 300 rows that you can work with, but if for some reason 300 rows isn't enough, you can always insert more into that table, and it won't ruin anything. And you can even reorder things if you really need to. And by using the benefit of this table within a table, you can resort things, and that won't hurt something else downstream. You might have to extend a formula or two, but later on when we start referring to the rectifile and to the 300A down the stream here, you'll see why that's beneficial. So to review, the EOPC is one of the more important worksheets, which is in the PDG. It's going to be the source for a lot of bid phase activities. When you're going through the design phase, you don't necessarily have to use that. If you have your own in-house version that you prefer to use, that's fine, as long as the city project manager is okay with that. But once you get to the project manual phase, it's really quite necessary. So make sure that you're making use of that so that you can reduce transposition errors and also hopefully make your life easier. Enter information into the colored cells, not into the gray and white ones. If you really have to, for example, in those budget allocations, you can change that if you need to suit the particulars of a project. But once you do that, that's a one-way street. Can't come back from that. As a reminder, at the preliminary level, you don't necessarily have to have funding divisions figured out. But by the intermediate, we want to know the different funding categories, if not the numbers. And by the final design submission, we do want to know the CIP numbers. Thank you for watching. Up next is the recommendation to file.